This week, we've been looking at the devastating impact of knife crime on young people and their families. Figures given to the BBC show more than 3,000 people have been injured by a blade this year in London alone. An additional 67 have died. Every attack is a tragedy for all involved, but there are wider impacts too on whole communities. In the third of his special reports on knife crime, Clive Murray has been speaking to some of the people living in one borough of the capital that's been hit hard by the violence.
The ripples of knife crime spread far. Individuals may be wounded, but whole communities are damaged.
There was members of staff that were trying to massage this boy's heart, outside us, outside our school, and they have never ever recovered from that.
The violence in a community breeds dread that your friend, your relative, could be next.
Before, it always used to feel like it was really far away. But at this point, it feels like it's at home now.
Back in my day when we had a fight, fisticuffs, it was over in 2 days, you finished. You're okay, you're friends again. But now, people bring the blade.
But there is hope.
There are so many young people that are coming up and have got so much good to say and so much to do, and they're not being shown.
We wanted to hear how one community in Haringey in North London is coping. The borough has one of the highest rates of knife crime in the capital. These are the voices of teachers, a bus driver, social worker, a retired policewoman, ordinary citizens living in extraordinary times, trying to do the right thing.
I think about 5-6 years we've lost, 3 students. One was killed right outside our school gates. It impacted the whole school, from every member of staff that taught that student, through all those kids that, even if they didn't know them very, very well, it had a very negative effect on our school in terms of how kids felt. We had to bring in lots of counsellors. People forget the wider impact it has on the community.
My boys are still quite young, 7 and 4, but there's definitely a concern, living in London, in a city. Everywhere you look, there's gang culture, there's knife crime, you turn your head and, someone else has been stabbed.
I can think of 3 people that I know personally who have been stabbed. One of them ended fatally. And now I think it's kind of got to a point where whenever I hear things like that in the area, I think, is it somebody that I know?
The group, however, was keen to keep a sense of perspective.
It is the minority that are doing the bad. It's the majority that are doing so well. And let's be clear, black children, our black boys, are not just rappers, and they're not just footballers, and they're not just athletes. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're authors. They are so much more.
But in London, more than half of male knife crime offenders are black. Our group feel a key part of the problem is the high rate of school exclusions among black boys.
I had a group of Year 11 boys. These guys were all big lads, big bruisers. I remember this particular TA who was in my classroom. He's a middle-aged white guy. As far as I'm concerned, I'm seeing 15-year-old kids. He's seeing something different. So by the end of the lesson, he's like this. This is the teaching assistant. He's like this. He's shaking. He's afraid. Our kids are feared. Can I say it? Can I just be blatant? If it's a white kid, big white kid, they're staying in the classroom.
At this moment in London, it's young black men that are killing young black men, yeah? In other parts of the country, it's not young black men killing young black men. If everyone's got that fear of the young black man, if everybody's aspiration of the young black man is low, then what is that young black man going to ever be? Because if no one's inspiring you at home, if no one's doing that in school, yeah, I tell you what, there's someone in that corner that will be doing it. Yeah. Yeah, and it's as simple as that.
There is a sadness in this room, a seriousness too, that wider society beyond the communities directly affected by knife crime remain too complacent about what's going on. It isn't until we all wake up to the tragedies and the pain that real solutions can be found. Clive Murray, BBC News.